Good evening. My name is Fred Lasky, and I'm the Executive Director of the MWRA, and I'd like to welcome you here this evening to hear this presentation about the Sail Boston. Just as background, this is the original pump station for the island, and as part of the harbor cleanup, it was turned into really a museum and a function area. So this is the building you're in, it's the original building from the island. I'd like to introduce Chief Delahunty and Chief Flanagan, who also introduce the rest of the folks from Winthrop to talk about it. But one of the things that should be very apparent to you and to us is that the world's changed since the last Sail Boston. And security is a lot tighter, there's a lot more detail being paid for the security end of it. And I think what you'll hear is a well thought out security plan and how it's all going to work. And there are some details for us to work out, but we are working very closely with both chiefs in the town as well. So with that, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Lasky, and thank you again for having us here at your facility. And of course, Chief Flanagan, Harbor Master Powers, Kevin Janellis from the Harbor Masters, Doc Dealey from Paul Revere joins us. Captain Blaney from the State Police had a family emergency this afternoon. His father passed away. Apologizes he could not be here tonight. I'll cover his security plan here for Deer Island. And United States Coast Guard that will go through their slides as well as running behind. So we don't want to keep people, so we'll move as quickly as we can through it. Sail Boston's a 501c corporation. That's a private corporation that runs these regattas throughout the whole United States and internationally. Of course, here in Boston, the last one was about 17 years ago, and here we are in 2017. We find ourselves having another one. This is the only North American port that it will stop in, so it's a pretty important role that Boston's playing. And again, they're coming from the UK, Portugal, and they're coming to Bermuda, then to Boston, then they go to Halifax and Quebec City. That's the route that they're taking, and that's what you can see next. There's 13 Class A vessels, 12 Class B vessels, 24 Class C vessels, and what divides them all up is how long they are, and one U.S. Navy ship. There'll also be a U.S. Navy flyover as they approach Boston Harbor, so you'll have a flyover event as well as the ships start to make their way in, which plays a pretty important role, Deer Island, along that path. They'll come in unison and they'll come back into another loop, one at a time, over the ships. So it'll be pretty good, spectacular event to see. That time period has not been actually told to us exactly when the flyover is going to happen. But it'll be certainly something to see when it does. I just want to recognize the councilors that did show up tonight. Linda Calla, Nick Delvento. Am I missing anyone else from the council? Thank you for coming and supporting us. They get to hear this many times, so I appreciate them being here for us as well. As you can see, the most important period of time for us is this matrix. It tells us that at 9 a.m., the starting line, the first vessel will go. They have to be at Fish Pier phasing outbound at 2 o'clock. So for Winthrop, this is a really 7 a.m. to 1:30, 2 o'clock p.m. impact session for us for Sail Boston. And that's what we have to plan for. The anchorage areas are going to be off in the Hunt and Broad Sound. That's where they'll be anchored the night before and staged there until the start at 9 a.m. Then they'll move up closer to Elliott Circle, and that's where the starting line is. If you can picture a straight line being drawn out in the ocean. The safety zones, Kevin, you want to cover the safety zones for us?
The safety zones, yeah, 100-yard safety zone. What that means, you have to stay far away from these vessels as possible, because this is a tier 1 security operation. It's just like the Super Bowl. So this is really serious. And again, just be aware. How many people own boats here? How many are going to be out there in the tall ships? There's a few of these. Just adhere to the procedures as the chief goes along. Okay? Make sure you're all safe and sound. You get the right equipment. We'll talk about it later. Thanks, Chief.
The parade of sails, they start at 9 a.m. as we just said. Every spectator should be in the anchorage areas, which we'll go over by 8:30 a.m. Once you're in the anchorage areas, there'll be no crossing the channel. from the Quincy side to the Winthrop side or vice versa, you have to stay on that Anchorage area side. So Winthrop, you're pretty conveniently situated because you can come in and out of the port without much interference. This is the route they'll take, and you can see right here is the tip of the island. We have better pictures to really show how close they come to Deer Island. Another safety zone detail. Once they're inside the harbor and moored 25 yards, they'll have to remain as a safety zone. This is the Anchorage areas. You can see Anchorage areas 6, 7, and 8 is right here at the mouth of our harbor. And of course, the 8 is closest to Deer Island. These Anchorage areas out here, it's not going to be as convenient for Winthrop residents to be anchored off of.
Excuse me, Chief, one
Yes.
second. For the people who are going to be out in their boats, I have some placards you can have. I'll hand them out to you so you can view them while out there. Thank you.
No problem. This is just a Google map to show how close they'll be coming. Again, they're on the full seal as they enter here, and they're going to drop this seal someplace over here. So as they enter Boston Harbor, they will not be in the full seal. Deer Island will be the last spot to view them under full seal. So that's a very important detail. Once the vessels are anchored and at their docking stations in Boston, the flow of traffic in the inner harbor will be a circular motion with no cutovers except where permitted. All these, in between these arrows, will be law enforcement vessels controlling the traffic flow in Boston Harbor. So again, in Boston Harbor, expect a slow procession if you're going to go view them all that week. I'd just like to turn it over to, is Dave, you going to do this?
Sure.
Just, thank you.
Yeah, we're going to cover this a little bit more. I'm Dave DeWest, I'm the director at Deer Island Treatment Plant. Deer Island is going to be accessible by foot traffic only. We're going to limit all the vehicle traffic, which of course the chief will talk about a little bit later. But essentially, the yellow is our perimeter, will be a fenced perimeter. And we will have scanning stations because anyone that enters Deer Island to view from the tip of the island will have to go through a scanner to make sure you're not carrying any weapons, to make sure you're carrying all the appropriate things that are allowed during the event and no prohibited items. And one of those prohibited items, actually, I'll get into that a little bit later. But essentially, you want no parking in public access parking either. So you will not be able to be allowed to drive to the island whatsoever, including MWRA employees. MWRA employees are going to be reporting to our Chelsea facility, and then they'll be vanned over, and a very specific vehicle that has been cleared with state police will be checking that out and scanning our people on the Chelsea facility before they come over here. So very strict requirements. There will be places that people, if they want to bicycle to the island, we will have places that you can lock up your bicycle, but you will not be allowed to use your bicycle on public access, contrary to what we typically allow during normal times. So those are some of the changes that we're putting out there.
I think it's important to understand that this type of security is going to be uniformly implemented all around the harbor. It is driven by Homeland Security, the state police, the Coast Guard. So it's not as if Deer Island is any different than anywhere else, any of the other viewing areas.
We're also going to have some fencing up on the shoreline area towards Winthrop and Ural Beach to make sure that any traffic that tries to come along the waterway, the outer harbor, gets directed towards the scanned area as well. We will be opening up the berth area, which is typically part of the pier system on Deer Island. It's usually closed to the public, but we will actually open it up for viewing. We will also have different vendors out there, as well as cooling stations. We'll have MWRA water fountains. We'll also have porta potties out there. And in general, so this is a better overview of the whole system. But essentially, this whole area will be open to public access. along with the best viewing site, which is actually down toward the southern tip. When you're on this area right at this very tip, you're about 1,200 feet away from the fully sailed vessel. So that's about as close as you're going to get. So anywhere in the harbor, unless you're on a boat. So and you're at that 1,000-foot restriction. So that's something to think about.
Chief Flanagan, you just want to, we'll have assets here on the island as well for first aid. You want to just briefly touch on that?
Yes, the day of the event, we will have ambulance stationed on Deer Island. Again, and we may be jumping the gun, but as the chief explains, where you're going to have to start walking from, whether you live at the point or you're coming on down in public transportation, they'll be turning around. We also have some gaiters for people who cannot do the walk. Gaiters are nothing more than a beefed up golf cart to help bring you down to the viewing area. So there will be assistance for those who cannot do the walk, who choose not to do the walk. But we will have public safety assets on the island for the day.
Yeah, from the security station all the way down to the southern tip is 1.2 miles. So it is a good walk. But for those of you that have walked Deer Island, it should be familiar.
Just want to thank Council President Russ Sanford for also showing up. Thank you. Again, we'll be turning traffic around here unless you live on these side streets that are south of this cruiser. All the buses will be turned around here. It's necessary because once we get past that point, we can't turn them around. The state police and the Winthrop police have been working hand in hand to come up with the security procedures. This will take effect Friday night at 6 o'clock. Friday night. No traffic beyond that point. No traffic to public access roadways or parking lots of Deer Island. So it's this is the Super Bowl event. The security requirements are as such. The entire Deer Island has to be cleared by the state police before we open it up for screening the next morning. Again, we'll do a July 4th protocol for the Point Shirley when and if necessary. So on July 4th, we always wait for all the streets to get packed with traffic and cars, and there's no public parking left. And then we start to close it down at Delby's Block. So at Delby's Block, we'll close it down at the High Tide Restaurant. We'll close it down on Shore Drive, on Tewksbury and Underhill, and also Beacon Circle, so the cars can't get down those side streets unless you have a resident sticker. The resident sticker, which is being distributed outside here, will allow you through those roadblocks. Just remember that resident sticker doesn't allow you to illegally park on hydrants, park on corners, or anything else. It allows you to get through those roadblocks. I just want to be very clear on that. Because I know I'm going to hear after that my car was towed by I had a sticker. So just do what you normally do. Be polite and think about this when you're parking or having your guest park. We urge people that are having house parties on the 4th of July, get your people in early. If you have a parking spot for 10 people, get those people in early. It's a short window. It's a 9-to-1 window that they're going to be able to see these ships. So I'm hoping that we don't have to close it down. I'm hoping that we can leave it open and free-flowing traffic and just control it by circling it back outward. But once the public safety need has been determined, we will close it down.
Are you enforcing parking for non-residents?
What do you mean by that? Enforcing parking for
On a private way?
Yep.
And non-residents try to park there?
Yeah, on private ways, the law is very specific and clear. The owners of that private way enforce their parking on that private way. You have to notify the police department that you're towing a car from a private way. We log it into our computer, so when someone thinks their car is stolen, we have a place to send them. But we do not enforce parking on private ways. It's actually illegal. The private way, the home ownership on that private way is almost like a condo association, and they control that private way because each owner owns up to the center line of the property lines. So it's very complex on private ways.
If somebody lives past Elliott Street, will they be able to drive out to their house?
Yes,
in and out with the
absolutely,
sticker?
at all times. You'll have access to your homes. Yes, that's why the stickers is really important to us. And it's really important to us so we're not stopping you and asking everyone that lives in the point for an ID or a registration or a license. That sticker tells me you live in the point, go. So that's the reason we came up with that sticker. Dave, do you want to talk about prohibited items?
Sure.
Chief, do you want to talk about placement of the sticker just while you talk about the sticker?
Sure, that's a good point, thank you, Chief. Again, we're asking everyone to place that sticker on the driver's side windshield, right above your residence sticker. So we want the officer to see it as you approach, so he's not looking at the back when he wants to see your front windshield, driver's side, so the officers can really recognize it right off and wave you through.
Now, the prohibited items list and the allowed items, there's some handouts in the back as well. I think I only printed out 50 or 60, so there might be some more here if you need them. But essentially, this is just like any other major event, including the Esplanade, the 4th of July, and a few other things. So we actually just, we're adopting their protocol because they're enforcing it across all of the different viewing sites within Boston as well as Deer Island. So essentially, backpacks or large bags are not allowed. You're not allowed to bring coolers that are on wheels. You basically bring a cooler that's handheld. There's no firearms, weapons, sharp objects, or fireworks. That should be obvious. No pop-up tents or canopies. You can't bring in cans or glass containers. You can bring in clear plastic bottles or unopened soda bottles that are plastic, but no glass, no cans. Wagons or pull carts not allowed. So essentially, carry in, carry out. You need to make sure that you pack light and you bring enough for there or for the event. We will have vendors down on that berth area on the pier that I mentioned earlier. We hope to get a few more actually solicited as well. No drones. I'm sure nobody's going to be bringing out one proximity to the airport, but also this event. Leave your pets at home as well. It's going to be crazy enough out here as well. You don't need to bring your pets. No gas grills, propane tanks, open flames, or anything else like that. We're not going to be cooking here. Just bring a sandwich or whatever else like that. You're essentially going to be there from 9 to 1, so and then with a little setup time beforehand. So you can bring in baby strollers, umbrellas, folding or beach-type chairs, the handheld coolers, as I mentioned before. So those are the things that you're essentially allowed to bring in.
Thank you. These are the closures that we anticipate. We've kind of already discussed this. The town said orders will be blocked, definitely. All these are pending if necessaries. So the same as July 4th. Euro Beach, town is having an event on Euro Beach that same day as the Tall Ships. These are the vendors they have interested for Euro Beach, so there'll be vendors on Euro Beach as well. We're hoping to diversify our crowds, and some people go to Euro Beach and others will come to Deer Island, and we won't have 10,000 people in one spot. So that's our plan. The town is also planning to run a shuttle service from off-site parking to the public landing, so people can walk to Euro Beach in a more convenient way once the need is shown. This shuttle service is going to be 8 to 4. It's being run out of the town manager's office. He's organizing that with Joe Domo-Overitz in the Parks Department. And we'll have several different areas of stop. The first one is on Veterans Road, right here, on the golf course side of the fence. So on Veterans Road, inbound towards Washington, parked up along those fences. There'll be a shuttle stop here at the playground by Lewis Lake, and a little bit further down, and then probably a quarter mile there apart, all the way down Veterans Road. So those shuttle services will be available to everyone in the town. The secondary spot is at the Winthrop High School. There's over by Franklin Payson areas. We're trying to fill up those areas first, and the shuttle bus will depart from there. There is a third shuttle stop that will start on Walden Street by Pauline Street, further down Walden Street by Ingleside Park, and then also inside the rig parking lot there. So we'll have those shuttle services available to get people from the other side of town down to Euro Beach if and when necessary, and if they like to take that option. I have Doc Daly here from Paul Revere. I'd just like to have Doc tell them about the services Paul Revere is offering and adding to this event, and also maybe backed up by the transit MBTA.
Okay, we plan on running a regular Saturday schedule through the MBTA, but we're also going to run express buses from Orion Heights right to Taft's Ave, back and forth. There'll be 3 extra buses for that. Depending on the weather, it would be augmented by the MBTA, depending on how many people we have. So again, we're not going to run all the buses through the town. We're going to come straight, a straight shot right up to Taft's Ave, turn at Taft's Ave and go back. So we're going to run that from 7 in the morning till 5 at night. The shuttle straight back and then the regular service. Again, if we need to be augmented, depending on how many people come up. If it's a nice day, you know, we make it hammered. If it's raining out, you won't. So we have T-Police will also be over there. They'll be checking. I don't know exactly what they're going to let people bring on the buses. My guess is don't bring a knapsack because they're not going to let you bring it on. But the T-Police will be at the station. We will be there from, again, the shuttle will run from 7 in the morning till 5 at night.
Just for the Paul Revere and the Transit Police Department, only bring on the shuttle what you can actually be allowed to bring into Deer Island. Follow the same list. If you have friends coming, tell them to follow that list. The transit police are not going to allow anyone on the bus that has anything off those lists. So that list is basically all the way through Boston. It's everywhere you go in Boston and any of the islands. The transit police have been at all these meetings as well. They're well versed in what they can bring. They're very used to this. They go through this on a daily occasion over the garden or any of the other events that they run. Chief.
Just along the same lines, we were talking about parking and restrictions. Anybody who's going to have visitors that are coming in, that you're planning on parking at the public landing. As everybody knows, it's a public parking lot. It's first come, first served. Once that lot is full, we're going to shut down the public landing. And please tell your people, don't park in spots that are reserved for boats and trailers, cars with boat trailers on it. Because we're going to aggressively enforce the parking and the way it's laid out in that lot. Because we expect a lot of people coming in to drop their boats. There are designated areas for cars with boat trailers. Don't park in those spots. Any other spots wide open. Once the landing is full, we're going to shut it down. My understanding, though, from the chief is if somebody comes in wanting to launch a boat and the landing is closed, they're going to be allowed to come down, launch, and then leave. Okay?
Our obligation to the state is to make sure that people launch their boats out of a public landing. It's actually their landing that we have a management agreement with, and we will let them do that. But they'll have to go to a Veterans Road or the high school to park and come back to get their boat. So with that, I just wanted to open it up for questions. But just at the end, the stickers will be distributed in the hallway with proof of residency. The 6th, 7th, and 8th, we'll give out more stickers for anyone who didn't come tonight at the public landing, at the Harbor Master Building between 6 and 8 p.m. And I will add a 4th day on the 11th, Sunday the 11th, from 10 to 4 at the police station to try to catch everyone who works days and nights and be as flexible as we can. With this is not to torment you or torment us, but it's just necessary to make the lines process even faster. And at the end of this, we'll take questions on this, and then MWRA is going to have a presentation on what's been going on here at the MWRA.
We're going to take a 5-minute break in between if people want to have a stage left.
Okay, thank you.
Chief, is this going to be on the town website, this alternative?
This presentation will again be shown at the council meeting tomorrow night, WCAT, and then it'll be on the Facebook page of the police department, the town manager's office, as well as our websites. So, I'm sorry.
We'll get the Coast Guard here.
The question is the ferry doing anything different that day? The ferry doing anything different that day?
The day of the parade of sale, the ferry will not be running because the harbor's going to be shut down. We're not going to be able to run. Once...
If you're going to exit, please exit to allow the people to ask their questions. We just close that back door so we're not hitting the people's conversations in the hallway. The question is to Chief Powers on the ferry.
All right, on the ferry, the day of parade of sale, during the parade of sale, the ferry will not be running because the harbor is shut down. After the parade of sale, the ferry will run, and on Sunday they're going to run 2 special trips in the middle of the day. Those times will be announced to do the loop that Chief Talent-Handy talked about around the harbor to see the tall ships in their berths. Plus the regular schedule on Sunday.
sir, and they'll come to you, sir.
Will the oceanside path be around the open or only the opposite?
Both sides.
Both sides will be
It'll
open.
After he gets through security, you can go left to right.
It's about 1.6 miles if you do the ocean side.
Sir.
Say again, on the 17th, when will you stop the non-sticker cars from coming in? How will
That's hard to tell you. We're not going to do it until we need to do it. So we're going to try to push that timeline as long as we can. Just like we do on the 4th. We don't tell them. We tell everyone to get in before 6. Sometimes it's at 7. Sometimes it's at 6:15. It depends when we have no more parking.
Yeah.
Is that just for that one day?
One day. Handicap accommodation, Chief Flanagan touched base on this at the beginning of the meeting. We'll have
Gators.
the ambulance will have gators where the people get off the bus for handicap people. On the gator, we have a handicap van. Anyone from the we have a handicap van for people who are in wheelchairs.
I will, I'll put that on action ambulance, we'll get a handicap vehicle. Yeah, we'll be able to move wheelchairs.
Chief, really off the looks good here. Any question for the Coast Guard?
I covered your slides. Any questions of the Coast Guard, they are here. We appreciate your partnership and helping us try to get through this.
Well, I'm gonna get one from
We're not going to say a time. So we say 9 and we won't do the 9 every day. So we got to push that as long as we can. People show up here at 8, 9, that's going to be closed at 8. So I can't take the sales call. So, you just stick up, we got to go through that. How many stickers for a resident? As many cars as you have, you get a sticker for each car.
you get a sticker for each car?
Anyone else? Chief Town, so we can answer the question, please.
Parking, the cars coming down, so approximately what time frame, I know you can't commit to a specific time frame, approximately what time frame would you say, like when we know on the 4th of July, once the fireworks are done, everybody leaves. Do you have an approximate time when you think that things might get back to normal?
I'd say we could probably be back to normal by 3:30. The latest.
Saturday afternoon?
Saturday afternoon.
So probably from Friday evening till approximately the
Friday
afternoon.
evening, you should be wide open except for the gas and notice coming down towards the island. There should be no restrictions Friday night other than that.
So
You
essentially-
will see a lot of police activity coming in Friday night, but you're not going to have any impact.
Essentially, it's Saturday.
Saturday, essentially Saturdays, we take from 8 to no later than 3. People, last shift goes by, you're going to stop leaving. And then if you walk by 2, last shift, the gas is like 150.
Thank you.
Spikes. What about them? The kids we run on the island, but the little bike tracks, no, they'll bike tracks outside the so you can walk up to it.
And then the rest of the weekend.
Yep. Yes. They're going to the house, and they tell us where they're going, well, we'll get to it. We don't want to make it like miserable, but. Yeah, I agree. Well, it's happening again, just gotta communicate with us. That's a big deal. Ma'am.
I can check.
Where do you live?
If you get on the list,
Get out.
just pass that along.
Get them here early. On Saturday morning.
Have to go anywhere.
Check it out. I will also call her on my side. Thank you.
Mr. Staff. You get them down, please? If you want to pay the bill for the security all year round, we'll pay you. This is a very heavy price tag, that some of it's being picked up by the federal government and other state agencies, so that's why we're enjoying this type of response, shall we say. And also, what dictates this response is all the events that we've witnessed internationally as well as locally pushes this response.
Chief, can you let them know too, screening at the island is gonna start at 6 a.m. So you can get on the island as early as 6
Oh, you
a.m.
can. Can you sit on the causeway? That's
No.
where we did it one time.
Well, you can, as a person, you can't park your car on that.
No, we live on Taft Ave.
I don't think there's any restriction. I'll check with the state police and get some information.
On the 6th, 7th, and 8th is the stickers at the public landing. What day, what time today?
6 to 8 p.m.
6 to 8?
Yep.
Okay.
Restriction coming into town on Friday?
Not in the town, just down Taft Ave.
Okay, if I live on Taft Ave, I can,
You'll be fine.
and then my children.
You'll be fine. You'll just be irritated by the blue lights and walking away. How long is that?